Hey everyone, it's Andy's Free Guitar Chart Videos here. Welcome to my YouTube subscribers, viewers, and Facebook group friends. Tell your friends about Andy's Free Guitar Chart Videos if you would. If you like these videos, give it a like and share, subscribe, and sit back and enjoy the fruits of my labor here. And that is that I'm offering to you as a repayment, let's say, for so many years of just going to school so much. I actually was able to study music and sing in choruses and play piano all the time. So this is what I like to share. It's not Andy's free engineering videos and all that stuff, although maybe someday. This is the most recent chart here, chart 520. You see here we have the Arial font here. I just thought it would be interesting. Sometimes I'm just too lazy to change fonts all the time back and forth. So we got Modal clefs on guitar fretboards with inner major 7th chords fitting to string-shaped shorts. Okay, we are fitting it to string-shaped shorts. In other words, what are we talking about? Modal clefs on fretboard. This is what's made it easy for me to remember the bass clef and the treble clef. Is that, and I don't know this as cold as I might know caged, and that is the treble clef. You just look at the in between notes in the treble clef as an F major 7th, and the bass clef you can look at the in-between notes, okay, as a minor 7th. Okay, and now up above and up and down below of each clef, if we have a TC treble clef, we would have an F major 7th here. So we got it right here. I've kind of added this little diagram how the clefs overlap. See, that's the confusing part about clefs, is they overlap. So first let's just study the clefs we have right here. I have the colored note stack here. We have our treble clef, as you know. So TC stands for treble clef. So where's middle C? Right down here. So this C would be actually up here, so it would be this. Actually, see, mostly in my videos we've been playing whatever we want to play as long as it's the right notes. Now we have to select the proper notes in their pitch, proper octave. So that would be an F major 7th, and then above that, in the upper treble clef, we have G, B, D, and F, which is a G7. So you can see how F would go to G7. What do you think's below it? That's right, E minor 7th. E minor 7th would be below that in the lower treble clef. So I have a nice E minor 7th. The major rule for offsets would be, for both clefs, is you take the clef note and you move that. If you imaginarily look at this as, so look at the upper treble clef as if it's the treble clef, and add 1 to the note. So here is in the treble clef we have the like that. We're gonna look at that F, add 1 to it, and we would get that G. If we look at the bottom treble clef or the lower treble clef, just as if it was this same one right here, that lower note, and subtract 1 note from that F, because if we look at this as if it is this, we're looking at an F, subtract 1 from it, and we would get the E there. Okay, so that works pretty well. We have the overlap right here. Okay, that causes the difference in the offset. So in general, any note that's on the bass clef, okay, can be looked at as a note that you can find anywhere related on the right hand on the treble clef. That note, if you find the same note on the treble clef, add 2 to it. You're getting the bass clef note. Actually, if you take 2 of those notes from the F major 7th, basically the A and the F, then you've got B half diminished 7th starting on that B. So the upper bass clef shares 2 notes with the treble clef. The bass clef shares 2 notes with the lower treble clef. So just get a copy of that little diagram there, and that's how that works. There's the 2-note overlap. That's where you get the offset. So it's how clefs overlap. 2 notes, 2-note lines each. There's the 4 of them. Now let's look at, I just have a straight note stack here. Down in the lower bass, this is as low as it goes here. We're going to be looking at, and we have to know which C we're looking at. So this is the C we're looking at. The root is the way low C. So here's middle C, here's low C, here's way low C, here's way low G down here. So this is the G7. G, B, D, and F. Then we go up into A minor 7th for the bass clef. Then we go up into a B half diminished 7th. So it's so easy. You start G, goes to A, goes to B. In the bass clef, and it's upper and it's lower, defined by about the size of a clef itself. Again, G, A, and B in modal. That's what it really is. Okay? And here in the treble clef, we have E minor 7th, F major 7th, and G major 7th. Right here, the 4 notes each. It's very easy to remember. But it's really starting here on middle C down here. So middle C is going to be this E major 7th, E minor 7th rather, and then this F major 7th, and then this up here, this G7. So the offset down here is +2 for the bass clef. So we look at an F here, look at this note as an F. All you have to know is the treble clef notes. Look at this note as an F, and then add 2 to it, and you get an A. Now, if you know what all these notes are, because we just explained that, right? We just explained that. You know what all these notes are, then just add 2 to any one of them, and you get what these notes are. So let's say we know this is this guy down here is a B. The same one down here, add 2 to B, and you get D. These are the relative offsets if you want to use everything as a function of just these 4 notes, just this, and perhaps the extreme notes too. But you have to be careful what you're looking at. So that's how the offsets work. The way I find it the easiest, it just dawned on me like in the middle of the night, this has got to be easier than I think it is. It's just G7, A minor 7th, B half diminished 7th, right here. Then we're going to go down again for the overlap. Alright, so the overlap between the 2 clefs can be as much as 1, 2, 3, 4 notes. Okay, it's 2 line notes. It's 4 notes because you got the in-between lines. Remember that overlap. How to remember it, it's just so easy. You start down here in way low C, C minus 2, and we go to A minor 7th with in the lower C. Then we go up to B half diminished 7th, which contains middle C. Then we go down four scale notes, or 5 if you're counting the note you're starting from. And then you start over again with the E minor 7th here. 2 line notes, 2 lines, two notes per line there. So you got the in between, the line through notes. Then you got the E minor 7th. It goes through middle C. You got the F major 7th goes through upper C, and then we have another G on top. Now, notice we have an F up here for our G7, but we could add a note there to turn that G7 into a Mixolydian scale. Okay? We can do that. Now, that we could do to each one of them, and then we could consider these guys modal. Now, where are we going to add that note? We probably want to add it on the upper to keep the same designations. Now, if we just add an F here, then we've got us a Lydian scale. We'd rather keep it, if you want to, keep it simple, then we want to favor these 4 notes, F, A, C, E, and then add the F up here to make the Lydian. The problem comes in when we want to fit it to the guitar chart is modal clefs. So we are going to be adding a note to change those major and minor and dominant and half diminished 7th chords. We're going to spread them out, add a note, and add the in-between scale notes to make them into a modal scale. So we're going to call it modal clefs on guitar fretboard with inner major 7th chords that we were just talking about on those 4 lines and fitted to string-shaped shorts. That's another complication, that we may have to add more notes than we planned. So what I'd like to draw your attention to, let's look at the bottom. Here the offsets are the same. To go from treble clef to bass clef, we've got an offset of 2. Okay? From any one of these clefs, starting here, it's an offset of +1 to go up, so that's +3. Okay, we're back. So 2 plus 1, we're just starting from BC to go to UB. We're going to add 1.